How is the government marketplace different from the commercial marketplace?
Well, the government marketplace is different than the commercial marketplace because unlike the commercial marketplace where you can readily identify buyers and send them a proposal, you know specifically what they're looking for, you know what products you have to sell, so it's pretty easy to match up what you're offering with what they're buying. The government marketplace is a little more cryptic. So, but on the other hand, it's a huge opportunity that very few people take advantage of. Right now, it's estimated that the government probably buys over $100 billion a year in products and services, and a high percentage of those come from small businesses. Unlike the private sector, the government buyers are required to allocate so much of their business, of the federal business, to companies that classify or that are categorized as small businesses. So this is a great opportunity for small businesses and ultimately most of the prospects that you'll be calling to tap into a marketplace that they wouldn't normally get.
And how do I start selling to government?
Okay. One of the reasons, again, that the government market is so difficult to break into is because there are a couple of prerequisites to selling to government. Now, one of the things you're going to want to probably ask your clients or your prospects when they're out there are, first of all, are they registered on what's called the SAM site, SAM, and the acronym is for Systems Award Management. To sell to government, everybody needs to be registered on the system. I think one of the things that you'll find is 80 to 90% of the people that you probably speak to are already registered here. They're also going to need a DUNS number, which is simply a government ID. And so what this process is they actually register on a site that does some preliminary vetting, so that they're actually a company that's deemed reputable, and there's also a record of them, so that when the government puts out bids, they know that this company is capable of meeting whatever needs that they have in goods and services. One of the ironies is that to get started selling to government, most companies don't have, they don't have the resources to either focus on that as a vertical, and they usually don't dedicate a representative to handle any of their government business. So that's where you come in. What we're looking to do is to create an opportunity to provide exposure for them in front of and to get them in front of a lot of the buyers that we have that typically make those decisions.
How does Federal Buyer's Guide fit into that process?
Okay. Federal Buyer's Guide, and you'll get this question often. One of the things that people are going to say is, well, who's Federal Buyer's Guide, and what's the difference between you and anybody else? And if I go sign up on these sites, then why do I need you? When you sell to the government, there are typically they give you a whole list of things that you probably need to do, and at the end of the day, none of those things are going to guarantee you any business. They tell you what's kind of what we talked about before. You have the 5 steps typically are: you have to register as a government contractor. You get some sort of a contract vehicle, which is something like a GSA schedule. If you're not familiar with this, you should familiarize yourself with it. Just go out and just Google GSA schedule and take a look at it. The problem with what a GSA schedule does is it's a rather lengthy process to become formally registered, so that you're eligible for bids, specifically coming from companies that are registered with the GSA. The problem is it can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to go through the process. It can be very time consuming at the least and expensive at the most. And the third thing is it doesn't really guarantee you any business. So for smaller companies, it can be a little bit of an obstacle. You don't need to be registered with the GSA to do business with the government, unless you're dealing in larger awards and you're in the pre-bid process. So one of the other things you should probably do also with a company, and you want to be the expert here, is you can tell them, by all means, get some SBA advice. There are SBA representatives in their communities. If they haven't already, they can give them specific points on government stuff. The last 2 points, and these are the things that the Federal Buyer's Guide is really going to be able to help you with. are to identify target markets and business opportunities, and also to get bids. So back to what Federal Buyer's Guide can do for you. Just as a little bit of a history, I think we probably have discussed this before, but as a company, we've been in business for over 30 years, and for those 30 years, we've consistently been in a position to be able to help a lot of our clients get in front of purchasing agents at pretty much at every government niche, whether it's federal, state, or even municipal. So that's a tremendous advantage for people that really don't know who to go to and who to call. The second thing is that with a lot of these companies, it doesn't really matter. Signing up with SAM and going through the protocol, it may be a prerequisite and it's critical, but it's not really going to get you any business. And one of the things that it's like any other advertising or marketing effort. The key to this is exposure. The more you can get your company's name and products and services out in front of people who are making those buying decisions, the more likely it is that you're probably going to benefit from that exposure and generate some inquiries. Specifically, the things that are probably going to make a huge difference. That in addition, we do a number of things at Federal Buyer's Guide. We create a web listing for the client, and we either email that listing, or we have a back end process that sends government buyers directly to their website where they'll be able to take a look at goods and services. We have a search optimization process through the keywords that they put in their web listing that actually are going to drive buyers directly to that site. So if somebody, for example, is selling commercial furniture equipment, oftentimes, if we do our job right and we get the right keywords in, when a buyer puts in an inquiry on that site, our site may come up with your information on it or the client's information before their actual site comes up. We also produce digital guides that we email to clients monthly, so that they can see changes in the marketplace, and it'll give you an opportunity to produce not only with a website but also to produce to create a digital ad that features your products and services that we will send directly to people. So you get not only exposure, but you get frequency as well. And then maybe most importantly, we also have a lead generation system. One of the things that the government does when it puts out bids is that there are public bid sites. One of the things that we do is we go to all of those bid sites and we match up your products and services with the current government bids that are out there, and bundle those by matching them up with what they call a NAICS code, which is simply a North American classification system with an ID code for the products and services. So we take the number that's on their bid, match it up with the number that's on your website, and send you those leads monthly, sometimes weekly.